Why they ignore you, then suddenly come back? Have you ever noticed how strange people can be? Someone who once couldn't stop texting you suddenly disappears. Days turn into weeks. Weeks become months. You stop checking your phone every 5 minutes. You stop wondering what happened. And then, just when you finally moved on, they come back. A simple hey, or maybe, I've been thinking about you. It's almost unbelievable. Why now? Why not when you were waiting? Why only after you've stopped caring? Most people think it's coincidence. It isn't. Human psychology is rarely random. In fact, the moment someone begins ignoring you, a silent psychological process starts unfolding inside both of you. Ironically, the harder you chase, the further they drift away. But the moment you truly let go, something changes. Today, we're going to explore why people disappear, why they often return, and why understanding this pattern might completely change the way you see relationships forever. Let's begin with something uncomfortable. People don't value what's always available. This isn't because people are cruel. It's because the human brain adapts incredibly fast. Psychologists call it habituation. The more available something becomes, the less emotional attention we naturally give it. Think about your favorite song. The first time you heard it, it gave you chills. After hearing it 50 times, it became background noise. The song didn't become worse. Your brain simply stopped noticing it. Relationships can fall into the exact same trap. When someone knows you'll always reply instantly, always forgive, always wait, always be there, your presence slowly shifts from exciting to expected. Again, this doesn't necessarily mean they stop loving you. It means your emotional value becomes invisible because it feels guaranteed. This is why constantly proving your worth often produces the opposite effect. The more desperately someone tries to hold on to another person, the less mystery remains. And mystery is one of the strongest fuels of attraction. Humans are naturally curious creatures. Our minds obsess over unanswered questions far more than answered ones. Notice how unfinished stories stay in your head. Songs with unresolved endings linger. Movies with ambiguous conclusions spark endless debates. The mind hates unfinished business. Psychologists even have a name for this. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. We remember incomplete experiences far longer than completed ones. Ironically, by constantly texting, constantly explaining, constantly asking, "Are you okay?" you're removing every unanswered question. There is nothing left for the other person's mind to wonder about. No mystery, no uncertainty, no emotional tension. Everything is already available. And when everything feels predictable, interest quietly fades. Now here's where everything changes. Eventually, most people become exhausted. Not because they stop caring, but because they realize chasing isn't working. So they stop, not as a strategy, not as manipulation, but because they're simply tired. They return to their own life. They focus on work, friends, family, new hobbies. Slowly, the emotional energy that was flowing toward one person begins flowing back toward themselves. And something remarkable happens. The person who ignored them finally notices the silence. At first, it doesn't seem important. They assume you'll text tomorrow or next week. After all, you've always come back before. But tomorrow comes and nothing happens. Another week passes, still nothing. For the first time in a long time, they experience something they never expected. Your absence. Here's the fascinating part. People rarely notice the value of constant attention. They notice the moment that attention disappears. Imagine living next to a waterfall your entire life. Eventually, your brain stops hearing it, but if the waterfall suddenly goes silent, the silence becomes deafening. Your attention works the same way. When it disappears, the brain immediately starts searching for an explanation. Are they angry? Did they meet someone else? Have they forgotten me? Notice something. These questions aren't created because you chase harder. They're created because you stopped. Silence creates space, and the human mind hates empty spaces. It rushes to fill them with possibilities. Some of those possibilities are flattering, others are frightening. But either way, you're suddenly occupying mental space again. This is why people often return long after you've stopped expecting them. Not because they magically became better people overnight, not because fate suddenly intervened, but because your emotional absence finally became real. For the first time, they had to imagine life without easy access to you. Psychologists sometimes refer to this as psychological reactance. Whenever people feel that access to something valuable has been reduced or removed, they often experience a stronger desire to regain it. Restriction creates attention. Real distance happens because you've genuinely started investing your energy elsewhere. You're simply reclaiming your own life. While you're rebuilding your life, memory also changes. Our brains constantly rewrite the past. Painful arguments fade faster than warm moments. This is known as the fading affect bias. Eventually, a simple message appears. Hey, I've been thinking about you, but here's the part that almost nobody talks about. Just because someone comes back doesn't mean they've changed. Missing someone isn't proof of emotional maturity. Sometimes it's simply proof that they miss the comfort you provided. When someone returns, don't ask, "Do they miss me?" Ask instead, "What has actually changed? Do their actions match their words?" Because apologies are easy. Consistency is difficult. Promises are exciting. Patterns reveal the truth. Sometimes people come back because they're losing access to you, not because they're ready for a healthy relationship. The most powerful shift you can make is this. Stop asking, "Why did they come back?" Start asking, "Do I still want what I wanted before?" Pain changes people. Healing changes people. Time changes people. Growth quietly rewrites your standards. Eventually, you realize something surprising. The greatest reward wasn't that they came back. The greatest reward was becoming someone who no longer needed them to. And perhaps that's the greatest irony of all. The moment people stop needing validation from someone else, they often become far more attractive. Confidence doesn't beg for attention. It simply refuses to chase it. People are naturally drawn toward emotional stability, not perfection. Stability. Love grows best where there's freedom, not pressure. You cannot force someone to value what they choose to overlook. You cannot build a healthy relationship alone. Love has never been a one-person project. It requires two people, choosing each other again and again. If someone returns with genuine growth, wonderful. But if they've returned with the same uncertainty, the lesson isn't that they came back. The lesson is that you've finally learned when to walk away. Because closure doesn't always arrive through an explanation. Sometimes closure arrives the day you stop waiting for one. People may ignore you. They may disappear. Months later, they may suddenly return. But the most important question was never, will they come back? The most important question has always been, who will I become while they're gone? Because that's the only part of the story you truly control. The version of you who learns patience instead of panic, self-respect instead of chasing, peace instead of obsession, is worth far more than the relationship you thought you had lost. If this video made you see relationships from a different perspective, remember to like the video, subscribe for more psychology-based insights, and share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever had someone disappear from your life, only to come back when you least expected it? What did that experience teach you? Sometimes the most valuable lessons don't come from the people who stay. They come from the ones who leave and unknowingly teach us how to stop abandoning ourselves.